You probably already know about the huge PMG Red Jordan sale that happened this week, but did you know that there was quietly a second PMG Red Jordan that sold around the same time? Did you know that the second $1 million Steph Curry sale ever just happened? And let's go ahead and find the 5 biggest, most interesting auctions happening this week across the hobby. Yo, 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 and welcome to a new episode, a new week of Across the Hobby. I'm your host, Adam Gray. Guys, thank you so much for downloading. Go ahead and hit the like button if you haven't already. We're already 35 seconds in. I'm sure most of you have hit it. Just kidding. Seriously, guys, I'm loving doing this show. Love the engagement. Love the comments. Love all of it. Last week was an absolutely huge week, and I want to review that briefly like we usually do. We're going to hit the card ladder top 10. We're actually going to make it a top 20 this time to drag it out a little bit because there's so many big auctions. And then we're going to hit the biggest auctions across the whole hobby this week. And we have some huge auctions happening this week. So let's go ahead and dive right into that now. And we're going to start. We're not going to do it in reverse order like we normally do it. We're just going to hit the biggest 20 to 30 different items that happened this week. You'll notice something, and this is sort of a common theme that we've seen lately. Look at that first 2 rows on card ladder. 5 of the 8 cards are non-sports cards, and in this case, they're all Pokemon. 2 Charizards, Pikachus, stuff that I don't know about, stuff I'm not going to talk to you about. But what I will focus on is the fact that, guys, last week we had $4 million sales. 4, one being a private sale, and then 3 auctions. And then one that almost snuck in. We almost had $5 million auctions in the span of about 4 days. The Babe Ruth rookie card, very rare to see move publicly, moved for $1.4 million. It is one of 9 $1 million plus auctions that have happened thus far this year. The Steph Curry Logoman auto from National Treasures, just the most recent National Treasure. So this is the last NT Steph Curry Logoman autograph, moves for over $1 million. After I walk you guys through all the biggest sales this week, I want to highlight a fun conversation about Logoman autographs, this tremendous sale, some naysayers on this tremendous sale. But as far as I'm aware, this is the first time a Logoman autograph of Steph Curry has ever moved publicly in auction format. And so we knew it was going to be a really big sale, but it eclipses $1 million. And if you look at the second tab on card ladder, it's just the second time that Steph Curry has ever hit $1 million. The only other time was when this 9-10 numbered to 5 NTRPA, the platinum, moved back in 2022 during a really strong part of the market. So to see the second highest Steph Curry sale ever is obviously a big deal. The number 3 sports card of the day, or sports card of the week, is a BGS 9 on the champ tag auto of Brady. We don't see 9s move that often. The last time that a football card moved for over $1 million, it was one of these. It might have been the same copy. I don't think it was. I think it was a different copy. But it has been almost 3 years since the last time we've had a football card hit $1 million. I think there were some people who were certainly hoping that this one would be it. It is not. And so the drought of $1 million football sales continues. It will be great to see that happening. And I don't think that there have been any private sales in that time that have been publicly reported over $1 million. So that is really interesting data that I will show you. I'll show you something interesting on that here in just a few minutes. So now here comes that first Michael Jordan PMG Red. Big sale here, a 5 sells for $640,000. I think this is the highest we've ever seen a 5 go for. Check card ladder to be sure, but I think that's the case. And then the triple PSA 10 here of the 1980 tops to $622. The autographed Jordan Star in an 8.5, obviously just a huge card. It's $542,000. And then the Michael Jordan number pieces. A lot of people were really interested on this one. I did hear some people speculating that this would be a 7-figure card. It gets to $518,000. This exact same copy moved last year for $350,000. So when you're talking about a 50% markup in the matter of less than a year on the exact same copy, it seems like a great win to the seller there for me. The Victor Wembanyama NBA licensed Superfractor autograph does almost $500,000. Off the top of my head, I think that's the second highest Wemby ever. We're going to just check that real quick because I want to make sure that's the case. But I believe that is, I'm not even close. It is the 5th Look how close these are. These all are right here. 528 to 488. I knew this one was higher, but man, those guys were all so close together. The Nebula, and then all four of those. It is not, I was gonna say it's the highest non-rookie, but it's not, because this Kaboom right here is the highest non-rookie. In any case, the 5th highest Victor Wembanyama sale ever. The orange Shohei 910 does 457,000. The 10 gold refractor does 396,000. The image variation 1010 376. The 1 of 1 Cooper Flag, I don't know how to say it, Pad Paradasha, I think 366,000. The Leo Messi Gold Power sells for 353,000. The Shohei Red Refractor does 350,000. And then a card that I really thought was going to be, that was sneaky, and I thought had a chance to be one of the highest selling cards of the night. This is the image variation of the 2025 Chrome Superfractor. The reason that I felt like this one had a real chance to be a card that a lot of people went after, and let's not make any qualms about this. This card just sold for $295,000. It's a really big sale, right? This is one of the bigger Steph Curry sales of all time. It is not the regular base card. It is an image variation. And that's something that I think a lot of people sort of say, okay, that's not as significant. It's like a qualifier. It's not quite the real deal. But what it is just the second year of Topps Chrome for Steph Curry. And it is a base, it's a parallel of the base, right? The base variation, the image variation. Making it really, we don't know that first year Superfractor exists. I personally don't think it exists anymore. I think it was probably destroyed near the time that it was produced. If it does come to exist, I think it's very likely the very most valuable basketball card in existence. And this, in a lot of ways, is the closest thing that exists to it. So when I think about what I know other Stephs have moved for privately and publicly, I genuinely think that was actually a pretty good deal. I know that's crazy to say for an almost $300,000 purchase of a card that's basically brand new. But I just think as the years pass, I think people are going to look back and they're going to say, oh, wow, what do you want of Steph Curry? And I think that this Superfractor is going to be really high on the list. I think you can make the case pretty easily that it's like a top 10 Steph card in existence. And then some people are going to say, oh, Adam, that's crazy. It should have to be a rookie. Maybe. I think there's very few shiny cards I'd rather have of Steph Curry than that one right there. It is a huge, huge card. Moving along, the complete set of the Contenders Kobe autographs. These have seen a tremendous lift over the course of the last 6 months or so. I really like the set. It's really pretty. Made obviously several years after his career was over, but some of his last autographs, and it's a really neat set. That set sells for almost $300,000. The 2013 Kaboom complete set, 20 cards. I'm guessing these are all PSA 10s. Yes, all PSA 10s. Does $268,000. Really an incredible price tag for a card, for a set that's not that rare. It's conditionally pretty rare, but it is the first installment of perhaps the insert of the era. And, that's something that is exciting to a lot of people. And so $268,000, that is a tremendous price tag on that set, in my opinion. The Jordan 10 does $268,000. The 6-card Shohei autographed lot is $268,000. BGS 9 on the Jordan is $251,000. Ooh, the Jordan LeBron dual number pieces autographed is $250,000. The 2 Shoheis, both green, $223,000. And then we get down to some of the more interesting cards of the last week, in my opinion. $222,000 for the Jordan in a 9 on the Credentials Future. Judge's Orange, $215,000. The 1010 there does some very heavy lifting. And then the Shohei 10 from Sapphire, the orange, does $207,000. Then a card that, as I was looking at things this morning, really jumped out at me. And this is what I teased at the beginning. Guys, this card is graded and authentic. It does appear very obviously to be trimmed, but it appears to be, and I believe that it is, a real, legit PMG red of Michael Jordan that was put in this SGC case maybe 15, maybe 20 years ago, a really long time ago. It's been in that holder for a really long time, and it's obviously altered. and it moves for $202,000. So what we're saying then is an altered SGC Jordan is worth a little bit less than 1/3, a lot less than 1/3 of the regular one that's not altered, that's a BGS or that's a PSA 5. That is this is considered a pretty high grade on this card at this point. And this obviously not only being altered, but being in an SGC case is going to be lower. But I have to wonder on a card like this. If you had the chance to take this card, to cross it over to a BGS altered case, isn't this going to sell for quite a bit more than $202,000? Is there a chance that this was just an incredible buy it now, best offer type deal that somebody made back on March 7th? So this is a couple days ago now. There's a chance. We'll have to see what happens here. It's number 22 of 100. Don't be shocked if you see 22 of 100 show up in a PSA slab soon with an altered label on it. Don't be shocked by that. I personally really like that this is in this old holder. I love old holders, but there's no question that this card is altered. I love old holders because they ensure that cards that have, that have been in them for all those years have been untouched and thus unaltered in that time frame. This card was altered before that, so it has less of a meaning to me personally. But yeah, that huge card to see hit, just show up in the sales here. I guess the last card that I'll hit, the last couple cards I'll hit because I like all of these. So this Kobe, I think a lot of us were watching this carefully. This card being a PSA 10 is so interesting, but the autograph is darkened. The autograph touches the side. And so a normal 10 on this card, I think, has a chance to be huge, but this card has two massive issues, the autograph touching the edge and the color. I wondered how much it would affect it, and I genuinely think it affected it quite a bit. I think a more normal version of this card, and I own a copy of this card, so I'm definitely biased here, but I think a more normal blue autograph, not necessarily anywhere near a PSA 10, could outsell this with a similar patch. So it's a reminder that the grade is actually not the most important thing always. We always do a good job of highlighting where the grade really represented a tremendous amount of value. And here it does too, because if this card was in a BGS 8 holder or something like that, it wouldn't have touched this price. But just being a 10 didn't elevate this above a card, for example, that was a 7, but had a really blue nice autograph on it. I think a 7 grade on this card with a nice autograph that was blue would have outsold it. And that makes sense to me. It does come down to aesthetics of the autograph. It does come down to not just the grade of the card, but how people view the autograph. Those are the more important things on this card. So that was a really interesting sale. And then this old label 9.5 here, 161,000. I've always loved this card so much. And it's good. And that might be the most that it's ever sold for. I believe it is. And then, of course, this last one, the triple autograph with MJ, LeBron, and Magic, with the 3 jerseys out of Exquisite from 2007, does almost $160,000. We already talked about the Steph and the Wemby. Now let's hit briefly some of the biggest auctions last week from MC Sports Cards, and then I have a few interesting things to look at by way of the Steph Curry Logoman autograph. A fun conversation about that, as well as some of this $1 million conversation that I think is worth speculating and thinking about. Kobe's 97 Star Rubies from the Team Skybox set sells for almost $40,000. The Steph Curry PSA 9 on the gold does $18,000. That was one that we were watching from last week. Over $8,100 for pennies out of 77 essential credentials. That's the future. This Wemby that we highlighted last week, I just talked about how much I love the aesthetics of this card. It seems like other people did too, because for a non-licensed Wemby autograph, $13,100 is a big sale. The Derrick Rose from the limited logos set out of 25 does $5,400, which is quite a bit more than Chris Paul. Kind of surprised me a little bit because we've seen this one sell a few times. We haven't seen this one sell in a while. Just this copy moved, and I actually think that was a pretty good deal on that card. It's interesting because You look back at Derrick Rose and you look back at Chris Paul, and who had a better career? It's like not even close, right? Derrick Rose's career was cut so short by injuries, and Chris Paul just played forever and led the league in assists. I don't even know how many times. One of the great point guards of all time. Now, the Derrick Rose is a rookie card, and that could play a part. But I genuinely think that Derrick Rose might be more collected than Chris Paul at this point. And you think about like why that might be. They both played for a large number of teams, but Chris Paul played forever and had tremendous success. Derrick Rose just got injured and kept trying to come back, but was such a high flyer and so beloved, and specifically beloved by the Chicago fans. It's really interesting that the Rose is considered, a more valuable card at this point than the Chris Paul is. We're thinking about. If you guys have thoughts on that, I'd love to hear it in the comments. Tom Brady, this isn't a 10, a 9 on the 2012 Prism Silver, sells for almost $6,000. And then the Kobe Durant sells for almost $2,700. Then if we go to Fanatics Collect, I just have to show you guys this because this is super interesting. If you go to Fanatics Collect right now, their auction from last week, this is just the normal weekly auction, and look at the top 9 cards, the top 12 cards, the top 15. Out of the top 15 cards in the auction, 14 of them are Pokemon cards. 14 Pokemon cards. The only one to break into the top 15 is this Shohei jersey numbered card from 2017. It's a BGS 10. Sold for $72,000. Again, this is just the weekly. These are huge numbers for being in the weekly, but you've got to scroll down to the 8th row before you see really any sports cards. It's worth noting because although I'm never going to talk to you guys about Pokemon, boy, those Pokemon cards, there are some that are just selling like crazy. Huge numbers. Shohei and Pokemon, like at the whole top. Then you get a Randy Moss for $22,000. A Max Verstappen, that's a sweet patch for Max Verstappen. It was almost $22,000. I love this Jason Tatum. It's fun to see Jason Tatum getting some love after his coming back. In a world where guys continue to sit out more games than we want to see a guy like Tatum come back early is refreshing. All right, let's go to alt, and then we'll have our fun conversations before getting on to our biggest auctions of the week. At alt, the Shea gold Logoman for my friend Alex sold for $146,000. It still shows as pending, so it's not been paid for yet. I was watching this MJ Jambalaya closely because I have an MJ Jambalaya in the same grade. Does $84,000. That's about what we were sort of anticipating that it would sell for. The Mahomes gold with autographed is $80,000. The 2014 Brady in a 10 out of Select. This is not Prism. Out of Select does $75,000. And then the last two that I'm going to highlight, the Kobe, not the very best patch, but still a great looking card with a good autograph, a 910 strong grade, $70,000. And what would you rather have though? Would you rather have this or the PSA 10? I would rather have this. And this is not the card that I like. This is not the patch that I like, but the autograph's just so much nicer on this card. I personally like this quite a bit more than the PSA 10 that sold the Golden. And the PSA 10, because it's a 10, sells for about 2.5 times the price. So worth noting. It is totally apples to oranges though. The different quality patch, the different image. The other one is just a better image, the point. This is sort of the more normal image. And then the last one, this is actually a 1-of-1 patch auto of Luka from his rookie year, which is obviously a huge deal card. That card sells for $65,000. Okay, before we get to the biggest auctions this week, I have a few pieces of conversation that I think are worth noting. The first of which is this discovery that I sort of came upon as I was like looking at giant transactions across the hobby. And you can go ahead and read my tweet here. It says, it's been 32 months since the last $1 million football sale. Since then, 54 individual cards have surpassed 1 million. This is obviously just publicly available transactions, including 25 baseball, 21 basketball, 4 Pokemon, 2 Magic the Gathering, 2 soccer. How surprising is this to you? And then we highlighted this Tom Brady card, which sold for $1.2 million back in 2023. Same card in the same grade just sold for a little bit under $800,000. And so I want you to know I'm not downplaying football here. I'm not saying, hey, look, football is low. I'm not trying to like level up basketball or other things like that. What I'm doing is genuinely asking the question. I mean this like sincerely. Why is it that football doesn't have $1 million cards? Why is it that baseball has a lot and basketball has a lot, and now apparently Pokemon has a lot? Why is it that football lags? And as I asked this question, one of the most common responses, both here and on Instagram, was football is not an internationally collected sport as much, and that really hurts it because some of the biggest dollars for some of the biggest cards actually come from Asia and other international markets. And I think that's a really interesting answer. I don't know whether it's true, but the fact remains that over 50 different cards across the hobby have moved for over $1 million since the last football card has. And I don't know where the end in sight is, because if a Brady 9 is not $1 million, then what is? Does it just take like an NT Shield auto parallel of like a big time quarterback? Is that the only thing at this point that moves for $1 million? Other people said, well, part of the reason that hasn't happened is because we just haven't seen the big dog cards. What are the big dog cards? Is it just those NT cards? What else in football hits $1 million? For basketball, it's like there's any number of, Jordans or Logomans or Kobe's or PMG green. Like it seems like there's a lot of them. But for baseball, obviously you get into vintage baseball and it's like Mantles and Roots and, then you've got so many different things. Shohei's, where it's like, gosh, there's so many. But when are we going to see them in football? I think that's an interesting question. So the other conversation that I wanted to highlight and opine on is this conversation that Signed and Slabbed, David Ratliff and Yair are having about patches and some of the common refrains about buying game used versus buying cards with game use. And this is something that I've talked to David about before. It's something I've talked to Yair about before. And I think it's a fun conversation because based on how you think about it, you can sort of rationalize anything or really just like, you have an opinion. So basically, this is how the conversation goes. Here's David showing off this card, this Paul Skeens card, and he says it's a 1 of 1. It's a rookie card. It's essentially 1/6 of the character logo. No idea what game it's from and whether he even pitched in it. And it sold for $117,000. And then he shows off Skeens. So again, this is Skeens card, and this is a Skeens jersey. And he says it's a rookie jersey. It's signed and inscribed. It has the entire character logo. It also has a Logoman. It also has all the other stuff that comes with it. It is like a real legit game jersey. And David's refrain here has always been, how in the world can part of a jersey be worth more than a whole jersey? Like, you have to, if you want the little bit, you'd way rather have the whole jersey, right? Like, that's the obvious thing, right? And I think that's really logical, and I think it makes a lot of sense. Let's see if there's anything else here. So he says, I don't even think this is a 1/6 of it. It's probably not. It's probably more like a 1/10 of the logo, maybe even less than that. And then he says this, and this has been my response to him in the past, and I know it's other people's too. He says, but I collect cards, not jerseys. It's like saying, I only buy the front door. I don't need the rest of the house. David's a really good arguer / debater on these types of things, and I find him super compelling and interesting in how he makes these arguments. But I totally disagree with him. And Yair and I land completely on the same side here. And I'm not going to show you the Yair quotes because look how small they get. They're tiny. Like, you can hardly see what he says here. I guess you can see this one pretty well. Yair says, I generally enjoy Signed and Slabbed's content very much, but disagree with him with this. He says, assets are getting smaller and more portable and flexible. Sports cards are also sports art to me. I love aesthetics, and there's nothing aesthetically pleasing about it. Just anyway, we could go on and on about this. Here's where David and I depart. This is where we end up in very different camps. Yes, I collect cards and not jerseys. That's the start of it. I just genuinely don't collect game used. And so game used itself is not as interesting to me. But how we think about rarity has to do with what the available catalog looks like. So when you're thinking about jerseys, you take like a modern player, for example, you have a ton of different jerseys that you could buy of that player. But in terms of their card collecting, on the other hand, you have cards that are available with Logoman. And you might say, like even if you're somebody who likes a brand, you might say, for example, on the Steph Curry card that sold for over $1 million, you might say this is Steph's final National Treasures Logoman autograph. Well, there's one of those. The thing that card collecting does, and this is why, as David goes off to say, hey, why don't you buy the whole jersey and put part of it into a card? Like that's a custom thing. It's not a knowable piece. The reason that Panini has tremendous value, or that Topps has tremendous value, is that they have the license to be the only ones to make the official versions of those things. So now that Topps has the license, they're the only ones that can make a Logoman autograph of a card and have it recognized as like a real approved NBA licensed thing. It becomes part of their catalog of available things over the course of their whole career. And if you're somebody who collects Logoman autographs, then it becomes critically important in terms of like that list of things. It's a little bit like stock in that there's only so much available. Whereas the jerseys, there's all of these jerseys out there. So, and remember, I gave a lot of credit to David's thought at the beginning. I think it makes sense where you're like, why would I want just a little piece of something rather than the whole thing? I think that makes sense. But I think Yair's point of like, I don't need the whole thing. I don't want the whole thing. I genuinely I'm a card collector, and there's only a few of these things that I really want. And yeah, the idea that they all fit in the same types of holders, that they're stackable, that they fit in a collection, a card collection that's officially licensed by the companies. That is the difference. And that's something that a lot of people disagree with. A lot of people don't get, but as the years go by and as something is viewed, and this is really the key component. This is sort of the key thing that I want to sort of say here, the punchline. It's because it's a card, right? It's because it's the card itself has that like there's only those few of that thing, and as the years go by, it's still recognized as that thing. It's not because it's a piece of the game jersey, actually. It's because it's the player's best card. It's because it's one of the player's best cards. That's the thing that matters to a card collector. And I had another friend who argued with this. He's like, no, what jersey the piece comes from really matters. And I didn't disagree with that. I said, but what I did disagree with is he's like, if you don't know what jersey it comes from, or you're not able to sort of show that, like it doesn't matter as much as the game used piece. And that's what game used people want you to feel. That's not what I feel though. To them, it makes every bit of sense in the world, but I don't care. Like I don't feel the same way they do. I don't collect the same way they do. And I do feel to a certain extent that the collectors of game used items want us to sort of recognize this and believe it and buy into it. And I just don't at all. Like, and I don't feel like I have to. I collect the cards and I like them. I don't like the game used. And it's nothing against the game used. It's just not as interesting to me. So somebody might try to get you to think that cards need to be a certain way, or like you have to be able to represent it. Like sometimes you can just be like, no, I think that's the best piece of the jersey, and I think it's cool that it's on a card. And I think about where that card fits in the big scheme of things. Anyway, I probably went on that too long. Sorry for that, but I think it's a really interesting conversation. I really like both guys. I like both their perspectives. But I guess the last thing that I'll say is this. I generally try not to tell people like, hey, like that's a bad thing to collect. And, I think that the game use guys do this a little bit where they're like, you shouldn't buy that because you could just get this other thing. But like, we get to decide what we want. We don't have to decide that we want the other thing, even if to you it makes all the logical sense in the world. So I will leave it at that. I'd love to hear your guys' comments. I got a little bit weird there in the middle where I was like, hey, listen to my punchline. And then I kind of lost track of where I was going. But hopefully I got there in the end. And if you guys have any thoughts or questions on it, I would love to hear them. Now, as we look at all the biggest items that are ending this week, I want to remind you that the goal here is to find 5 items that are like really interesting, high variance items that have that are things that rarely pop up for auction. There are, cards that just really stand out as unusual auctions. And so that's not to mean like my favorite cards necessarily, although sometimes those do make their way in. Let's look for them. I know MC has at least one item that a friend sent over to me that I want to share with you guys. But let's start by looking at MC. We're going to look at MC, then we're going to look at hoodies. Hoodies has a huge auction this week. We're going to look at alt. We're going to look at Fanatics weekly. Golden, believe it or not, has their elite auction, which is kind of crazy because they just finished with their Golden 100, but their elite auction is ending this week. So, a week later, we're going to look at Card Hobby. We're actually going to spend a few minutes on Fanatics Premier auction, even though that has over a week, so that we can like take a few bites at it rather than like trying to fit it all into next week. We're going to start with MC. So the very beginning of MC, we get an Optic Lime Prism rated rookie, PSA 9, great looking card, a card that hit the 25 and 25 list. It's not a card that showed up on my list, but actually showed up really high on the community list. People in the community, I should just say the community, really favored portrait type cards. The community had this card over the Prism rookie. Really shocking to me. I assumed that the community would go with Prism because that's the brand. People went with the image of the player over the brand. Then another Mahomes 2017 Select Jumbo Patch, 2 out of 5. Then another Mahomes. We got Mahomes all over the place. PSA 10 from 2017. Panini Phoenix, number 299. Little LeBron Flawless. A Jamal Murray Logoman from 2024. This is interesting because it is a Jamal Murray game-used Logoman, but it's numbered to 12. This is very reminiscent of when Upper Deck lost their license back in 2009, and they had some of these Logoman sets that were higher numbered. A Logoman numbered to 12 is about the highest that you'll find a Logoman from the Panini era. If you're looking for a Jamal Murray, you get Flawless, which a lot of people think is the brand of the era, and it's, like I said, numbered to 12. Penny Hardaway, numbered to 100. This is his Diamond Dimensions, his triple Diamond Dimensions. I want to look at this one real quick, show you guys. There Penny is in that beautiful pinstripe Magic jersey. That makes all the difference when it comes to Penny Hardaway. Card is graded a 9. You can see it down here, the hand numbering out of 100. It's one of the very first serial numbered inserts ever made. In fact, 96 had no serial numbered inserts. They were serial numbered parallels. And then 97 just has this and the SP Authentic. I think everything else from 97 is that's serial numbered is a parallel. So it's really one of the very first serial numbered inserts ever made. Very cool card. There's another one of these examples of a Logoman that's not, a 1 of 1 or close to it. This one's out of 10. Steven Adams is a very popular guy, very popular player. Not always to collect, but in terms of fandom, I think a lot of people really love Steven Adams. I've really enjoyed watching him over the years. He's getting older now. Obviously, he's been hurt for the Rockets, but when he's been healthy, he's been one of their most valuable players. It's interesting. He's somehow more valuable now than he was 10 years ago. Really found an interesting niche. All right, another penny. I'll bet you these are from the same collection. If I had to guess, I bet you even if you look at the cert numbers, you might find out that those are close there. The Ultra Stars Gold. There are very few of these that have ever been graded, especially in an 8.5 or higher. In fact, let's take a look. So you can see when you type in the code to PSA, this is actually a pop 1 with only 11 higher, guys. For a card that you can make a case is the single best non-serial numbered Penny Hardaway insert ever, it's quite a low number. That's why you see it as high as it is. It'll be interesting to see what it sells for tonight. Aesthetically, it is gorgeous. It is gold. It has the cracked ice type background, and only 10% of these gold or of these Ultra Star cards were printed in gold. The rest of them are also very, very pretty, and they refract, but they don't have the gold in the background, nor do they have the cracked ice. 8.5 is a really strong grade on that, so that should be a fun one tonight. Big Maxi from NT. This is the colossal patch autograph from his rookie year. MJ, the reason that this is as highly collected as it is 100% because of that grade. Note the Pop 12 here. Pop 12 on a real MJ insert that is well known. Again, not like the rarest or best or anything like that, but it's a regular, normal insert from 1998. There's 12 of them in a Pop 10 or in a PSA 10. That's a big card. Big KD, a Tariq Skubal 1/1. This is Superfractor from Finest. Randy Moss's Platinum Rookie. Remember, the Platinum Rookies from 1998 are numbered to 66. The rest of the set, I think, is it 99 or is it 150, something like that. But Randy Moss, you'll notice that Moss here, this is an important note to make, and I think it's lost. This is one of the things that gets lost in time, but I still feel strongly about. So when we were young and this product was coming out, it came out in two tranches, Series 1 and Series 2. In Series 1, the rookies were in their college uniforms. In Series 2, they're in their pro uniforms. And over time, people have sort of learned this idea that, you don't want players in their college uniforms. That's bad. You want them in their pro uniforms. But when we were kids, it was about which card came out first because that's the true rookie card. That was the card in Beckett that had the RC next to it. This was the card that had the RC next to it. This is the parallel version of that. One of the parallel versions of that. The regular version of this was the Randy Moss rookie. So if you look at the back, this is card number 207. And I think, unless I'm mistaken, and that's possible, but I think if you look at 98 Ultra and you look for another Randy Moss card, you'll find another card where he's with the Vikings, and it will be after 207. If you do the research, you'll find out that that's from Series 2. This is from Series 1. Check the pop report. There's only 66. PSA 9 is really strong. It's actually a pretty big Randy Moss card. Very rare to have a Randy Moss card that's that big, a rookie that's that big, come to auction. Griffey in a 9 with 10 autograph. Obviously, we're seeing a lot of movement on that, on those cards. Jordan looking pretty green, but still a 97 Jordan Chrome Refractor. This is the easiest of the 3 Jordan Chrome Refractors to get by a pretty significant amount. I love this Jordan card. I really, really do enjoy this Jordan card. I want to highlight it here real quick. I thought about doing this set. The Iron Sheik did do this set. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's probably sold out at this point. But the Radiant set from 2008 Upper Deck is, I think, pretty definitively, in my humble opinion, I think it's easily the nicest base set the Upper Deck ever made, period, for NBA licensed basketball. It is like all the cards in the set are numbered to 299, and so finding even a regular common of an ordinary player at this point is pretty difficult. Ironically, finding Jordan might be the easiest. Jordan, LeBron, Kobe, those are the 3 that pop up the most, but they don't show up every day. In fact, I want to just take a second and just go Radiance, higher, so an A. Is it A or an E? We'll find out. Radiance 299. Oops. Let me type in Jordan. See how long has it been since we've seen a Jordan. So a Radiance Jordan popped up in February. So that's 3 weeks ago. A 9 sold for $3,700, and then a 9 back in October for $35,000, and then an 8 in October. So we're seeing them still. We see them about every 6 weeks to 8, every 6 to 10 weeks on average. You will see a copy of, oh my goodness, I've gotten out of sorts here. You will see a copy of this card pop up, and this is a 9. It's a really nice card. It's not often, but then the other thing that I want to point out here is it's not an insert. It's a base card. Historically, and I don't know that this is the case anymore, but people used to really like rare base cards. I still really find rare base cards really enjoyable. 2 of the cards that have made my cut, as I'm in the process of paying for a really big card. 2 of the cards that have made my cut or my 2012 Flawless Kobe and my 2012 Flawless LeBron. They're both numbered to 20, and they're 2 of their rarest base cards ever. For Michael Jordan, this is one of the rarest base cards ever made. It's not a parallel. It's not an insert. It's a base card. In fact, what Jordan base cards are rarer than this? Is there one? There's exquisite. There's exquisite base cards. I think those are the only answers. There's Premier. There's an Upper Deck Premier that's like numbered to 99 or something. I think he has a base card in it. This is maybe a top 5 to 10 rarest base card of Michael Jordan ever made. It's pretty cool. And it's at $2.99, and it's way prettier, like way prettier than like an exquisite card. It's like white and has like a little bit of foil maybe. This one like refracts like crazy. It is a beautiful card. All right, sweet Mike Trout. Holy smokes, that thing's beautiful. Game used batting glove. That's cool looking, right? That is a cool card. Color me very excited to see Dynasty in basketball. Baseball is not the sport that I like to watch. It's also not the most aesthetic sport with the players, the long acrobatic things that you see in basketball. You add that to the holofoil and the design work that they've really mastered over the last few years. Dynasty in basketball is going to be amazing. That card right there, though, holy smokes, is that pretty. The Nike swoosh, the blue autograph. Sorry, I'm not highlighting things as well as I should. Forgive me for that. Look at that. And that is freaking awesome. The etched holofoil, the glove, the logo, the autograph. Like, this is just a perfect card. Love that card. Do I love Mike Trout? Not really. I'm not really a baseball guy, but I love that card. That will be an interesting card to watch. De'Aaron Fox, 1/1 out of Eminence. Kobe, this is an authentic card. Check the centering, check the greening, but it is still a Kobe Gold refractor. Chris Paul, the autograph patch, number 35 from 07, exquisite. Really neat patch on that. Awesome Alcindor. What is that? That's a 5. Okay. 5 on the Alcindor. Triple autograph out of Prestige of Barry, Favre, and Thomas. Is that Thurman Thomas? That is cool. Okay, we got to look at that one. Okay, we're gonna highlight maybe 5 more cards the rest of the way and MC because I got to get moving. Look at this Mahomes autograph right here in black. Look at this triple out of Topps Museum. Really cool soccer card. 10-10 on the Griffey. Bowman's a tough 10. Remember, those cards are just a little bit oversized. Ted Williams autograph with a little bit of uniform. Ooh, the Jambalaya LeBron. Got to look at that one. That's a card. Interesting to see that one raw. That's one that you'd assume you'd see graded. What is this Steph plate? 2009 National Treasures Steph plate. We're going to do some research on that card real quick because that may be pretty cool. Do some research. See, Anthony Hardaway may be the most collected player who from 98 Fusion doesn't show up in the numbered portion of the set. He's still in his Magic uniform. It's kind of baffling that he didn't end up in the numbered portion. Stockton, Malone, Olajuwon, Barkley, those are the guys that ended in the I'm gonna highlight that one too. I need to stop talking where you like I'm not showing you the main section. So I will get better at that. Wait, is that an autographed Maris rookie? Holy crap, that is awesome. I don't know if I've seen one of those before. He passed away long enough ago. I kind of am shocked to see that. Oh, I love the gold on this Stafford. I love it. Check out this MJ autograph, almost 13 grand. Vince in the silver set. Talk about this Larry Bird for a second here. Oh, this MJ. The game dated. You don't ever see that card hit auction. The Devin Booker White Sparkle. Man, this is a huge auction. Check out this Luka. This is the 72 Wemby. We highlighted the 71 last time. Kobe autograph. Pippen, wish that was a real Logoman, obviously. This is not even the monthly auction. This is just another insane weekly auction from MC. Check out the Jordan patch here. Some of these are all-star patches, but that does not look like it. I want to see if that has any sort of cert language that tells us anything. Oh, this triple autograph out of Stadium Club, triple Laker autograph is amazing. All right, and then this, man, I'm going to highlight 2 printing plates today. That will be the first time I have ever done that. I can assure you that. Julio Jones, amazing, flawless patch auto, 1/1 out of 2016. Cooper Flag, Sapphire Black to 10. Man, what a big week. Okay, so I've highlighted like 12 items, and I was going to do like 3. I wanted to see this one. All three of these autographs are amazing. None of them touch each other, which is sort of shocking. I'll bet if you can go find other images of these, I'll bet almost all of them have to touch each other because, I mean, like it's hard not to. Like that's a lot of autographs in that area. Is it serial numbered? I guess it's not, which is too bad. You'd like this card had been serial numbered, but that just is what it is. I can't tell if that's a regular or a holo foil. The BGS case has seen better days. It's a pretty new case, though. It's kind of surprising to say that about it. I guess it's not that new. It's weird because it's got the white, but it's a 1-5. I thought that the silvers started. This must be about the time that they started putting 8s in silver. I really just love this piece. These are three of the best known guys from the late 80s and early 90s, mid 90s, all on one card. And it was signed in 2000. It's one of the earliest sort of version or type cards where you've got this many different autographs on the same card. So I really like that. I wonder, when was the last time one of these moved? Let's check that real quick. So Favre, Barry, Thomas. So Favre. Let's just do Favre, Barry, 2000 auto. Let's see if that gets us there. 8 ever. Okay, here they are. One moved in 2025, one moved in 2023. So this is a card that we see move every, look at this, 25, 23, 21, 17, 14, 10. This is a card that only moves maybe once every 2 years. Oh, man, now I'm way out of sorts. There we go. Maybe once every 2 years this card moves. Maybe. So to see it up right now, pretty cool. Really pretty cool. Next one. I think this is one of the best, if not the best, LeBron rookie inserts. There's another card out of Focus. It's like gold, and it's an insert that is really neat. Sometimes this card has some weird stuff on the edge, and you can see this one has it right here. You can imagine this is like a hard shape for a printer to cut exactly right. Look at that right there. That's probably why it's not in a holder, right? If it's in a holder, it's probably not a super high grade. I don't really know. I don't know how they grade that when that thing happens. Or I can tell you for sure I've seen this before on this card. You can see it maybe on this side over here. Not really, maybe a little bit. Background sort of hides it a little bit. What I know, there's very few LeBron inserts that are better than that one. The next year they went away from the lenticular and it just wasn't the same. Although some people really like those. It's not the same. Okay, so this card requires us to do a little bit of research. So check this out. You've received an authentic printing plate for the 09 National Treasures Logoman of Steph Curry. Now, obviously, this is not a Logoman. There is no Logoman here. But the reason that this is really interesting to me is that it is a rookie year card. You can see it right here, 09-10 Logoman. Okay, Steph Curry. So I don't know the Steph Curry Logoman card well enough to know that that's what that was. But what I know we can do, and this is what will make this maybe more interesting to me, and so maybe it will make it more interesting to you. I want to go to Stephen Curry 2009 National Logoman. Is it this card here? Number 5. Yes. Check it out. There's the plate. There's the real card. Real card, plate. So 4 of these plates were used to make the, to make the Logoman out of 5 rookie, and it's autographed, by the way. This is the autographed version. So it has like this little autograph sticker on it. And one of them moved last in February of 2025 for $168,000. We're in a very different world today than we were back then. You would think that if that moved today, it would probably move for quite a bit more than that. There are the autograph on the card's not great. It's on a sticker and it's really hidden on his shorts. I'm just being real. It's still an autographed Logoman rookie card of Steph Curry. Okay, it's a huge deal. There's 5 of them though, so it has a few things against it. I've had people argue to me that this is a better card, the Colossal, and I'm not sure I disagree. And the autograph it's big. It's there. It's an autograph Logoman, but it's harder to see. This is, I think, a better looking card. Anyway, we're not even talking about the cards. We're talking about the plate. You know what's really interesting? There's fewer of the plates than there are the Logoman. There's 5 Logoman rookies, Logoman rookie autos, and there's 4 plates. It's really cool. It's worth thinking about. Okay, anyway, we will get off of that one. I just wanted to highlight this one because I started to say this. In this set, there are 50 cards. And Fleer did a really bad job of naming this set because, see this down here? It says Titanium Heavy Metal Fusion. It says this on both the silver and the gold. I made a mistake there. And it says different things for depending on players, but then it says the same thing on each player, which it wasn't supposed to. They made these in gold and they made these in silver. If you're not numbered in the silver set, you won't be numbered in the gold set. If you're numbered in the silver set, you will be numbered in the gold set. Cards from the silver set that are numbered at 250, and they're numbered at 40 if they're gold. Nobody called them silver or gold. Notice it doesn't say silver or gold on the slab. That's me literally trying to change the world because the naming convention on these is crazy, and the fact that we would call a card that appears gold titanium doesn't make any sense because titanium appears more like a silver metal. So people are like, the titanium, like, because it's one of the rarest, best looking Jordan inserts, and you're like, can we please not call it that, right? And given that I have one of the Jordan, I'm a little bit sensitive to it. Just being real though, for the set, it is confusing to collectors in that 20 of them are numbered and 30 of them aren't. Of the guys in the are not numbered portion, the one that's the most surprising is the guy you're looking at here. Penny Hardaway is one of the most collected players of the whole era. And the fact that he's not numbered is nuts. Check the pop report. My guess is there's probably 20 to 25 of these. I would just think high level guess. And if you are a big penny collector and you want something that is like really nice aesthetically, but not one of the first cards that people think of for your guy, I think that's a really cool one. Okay, Roger Maris. Yeah. So note a few things here. Note the old blue holder, but the newer slab, right? The old blue trading card grade, but it's in a newer lighthouse slab. It's got this thing on the back here. They're not authenticating the card, but don't you think that card's real? Like, doesn't that look like a 58 tops Maris to you? It does to me. I don't think that that's a fake card. I think it's a real card. So then the question becomes, how many Roger Maris autographed 58 tops cards are there? Usually you can just take the cert number and type that in, but in this case you can't because this doesn't connect to the card. So what I've done in the background is I've just Googled 1958 tops. You can see the card that they use for PSA as like the card of the set, and this is often like the most iconic card in the set, is the Maris. Remember, before Maris was passed for his single season home run record by guys like McGuire and Bonds and Sosa in the steroid era, Maris had that record. He had it for a really long time. So when Bonds when McGuire and Sosa beat him, and Maris had already passed away at that point, Maris's family was to everything. And Maris's family has been to a number of things since then too, as other players have challenged that and passed that. In any case, this is Maris's rookie card. And if you go to the PSA DNA certified tab here, I'm really interested to see how many of them there are. Okay, there are more than I thought. There are 63. And the reason that I say that's more than I thought isn't because it's because he was gone, or because he passed away a long time ago. So it's not because, I was going to say, it's not because he's not a great player. It is an iconic card. But there's only 63 of them in the pop report. Now, this one that we're looking at here, where did I lost it? It's not going to be like a super high grade copy. This isn't going to come in as an 8 or a 9, right? Like, and it's got a crease over here. This card's probably a 1 or a 2. Maybe a 2.5 or something. I don't know. This is not a high grade card. So if you look back to the pop report, you could have it be above the 25 here, maybe if it gets a numeric grade from PSA, which I can't tell just by looking at it. But could it be like in here? Yeah, it totally could be. And it could be way ahead of these authentics, or maybe it's a 1, maybe it's down here. In any case, there's only 63. There should be 64. And this one that we have here is not in that grouping because, see, the card was not graded. See how it says trading card? See how it doesn't say 1958 Topps Roger Maris? The card, although it's in a PSA slab, is not part of that pop report. Does that make sense? If you have questions, let me know. I want to know on this card, 1958 Maris Auto. Simply, that is what I want to know. Okay, so one actually moved 2 weeks ago, and then one moved late last year, and then one moved middle of last year. So they don't move that often. They move 2 to 3 times a year-ish. This card right here is a lot nicer, like way nicer than the one that we're looking at. Look at that autograph. Well, actually, I don't know. I'd take the autograph here. But the card is nicer. The card is sharper. 310. Is this autograph maybe a 10? I don't know. It's in pen, though. It's in pen, and the pen is neat. This one's not pen. This one's a nicer card, though. The 310. My point is this. I think the slab here hurts this card in terms of its value, and I really like the autograph on there. Go back to Card Ladder and look at the autographs and see how many of them are nicer than the one we're looking at. This one's in pen, but it's not as nice. It's pretty nice. What would I rather have, that one or the one we're looking at? That one sold for $2,800. It's a really nice autograph. It's worth looking at that one if you're a vintage guy. Okay, so this bird, I saw somebody else post about this. This bird's autograph is not. I think it was Jeremy. I think Jeremy Lee posted about this. Numbered to 33. This is the number pieces. This is the beloved number pieces 03 set. 7 grade, 10 auto grade. Very nice. It's really surprising to see that was given a 10 autograph. I am surprised at that. And I'm not talking down to the card. It is a great card. I love it. I would love to have this exact copy in my collection. I'm just surprised that PSA gave it that grade. And the piece of information that I haven't said yet that's important is, see, that's a new cert number. Like, they gave it that grade with that autograph. In fact, watch this. If we go to PSA and we type in, actually, PSA cert. If we go to PSA and we type in the number 14864 and 9510, we will see an image. And the image that it shows us will confirm, and this is why it's great. One of the reasons that it's great that they provide this imaging. These images will confirm to you if they pop up, which they're not popping up. That autograph was really dark when it was graded. I would argue PSA got that wrong. I'm not a professional autograph grader. I have seen autographs that have faded in the past that are not graded at 10 afterward. To me, this autograph is a 7. It's not a 10. And so kind of surprising that they did that. And I think they got it wrong. But I'm not the grader. They are. Okay. So this Jordan card. We haven't seen one of these sell in a while. It looks very similar to the regular base card. The regular base card says game dated and has this information, but the background, I think it's called Duflex or something like that. That is different, and that makes it a parallel known as the game dated parallel. The pop report on this set is all sorts of jacked up because a lot of the regular base cards PSA has graded as game dated cards, and they're not. Cards that actually have sold, they're game dated. You would want to check. Card Ladder, and you would want to type in Michael Jordan 1997 game dated. When you do that, see how regular card, all these are regular cards. This one even says it's game dated by SGC. It's not. It's a regular card. So again, the companies get this wrong all the time. So the best way to do this, and this is one of the great things about Card Ladder, guys. I love this feature. Just hit minimum of $1,000. Hey, here's one. See this card in a 9 just sold for $7,500, and it is a game dated card. This one, ooh, boy, look at that. Oh, it was a 4, but still, that was a great deal. See, I love stuff like this. Cards like this card in a 4, that was a great deal. $13.99. $12.59. Another. Is this the same card? It's got to be the same card. Ends in 61. No, it's different. 2 4s. That's crazy. An 8.5 for $27.50. 2,400 raw for 21. Raw from Fanatics with the CGC authentication. So you can see, like, it's obviously a pretty big deal card. At one point, it was listed as like a top 10 Jordan card in the world. Now, it's not as rare as the PMGs. It's not as rare as like his really rare serial numbered stuff. It is a rare card, though. It doesn't move that often, and I really like that one. How long has it been since? It hasn't been that long. And it moved 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, it moved 10 times last year. So it's a one a month, one every other month type card. All right, Devin Booker. I'll tell you a card that is not an every other month sort of card. Devin Booker White Sparkle is really an interesting card, and it's nice that this one's centered. We're going to go check Card Ladder on this, and then I'm going to tell you his story. Gosh, I need to be faster. I'm moving way too slow on this episode. Okay, let's go. Booker White Sparkle. Every week I'm like, we're going to do an hour and a half, and then I just blow past it. Okay, so this one, 2015. Check out how often this one moves. It's moved 9 times ever. Ironically, one of them was 7 days ago, and then one of them was a couple weeks before that, and then look, 2 years before that. It really doesn't move very often. This was the first year of White Sparkle. White Sparkle are cards that don't come in regular packs. They come on their own packs. And so it's estimated that there's between like 18 to 25 of these cards in existence. And that's how I knew that they didn't move very often. I just sold the Kobe and the Steph from this set because I had to. I didn't want to. I genuinely and generally, I should say, feel like this is a really interesting play as a set. It's the first year that they made a really neat parallel that's really different, and most of them are really off-centered, and they rarely pop up for sale, and they're great-looking cards. So I actually think they sell pretty low, too. The fact that a 9 for Devin Booker, one of his best rookie cards, is less than $3,000, I think is a pretty good deal. So this one probably you'd assume it will be around the PSA 9, and if that's right, it's about a third of the way to where it will get to, but sometimes we see those things not do as well as we would think. Okay, here's the question. Michael Jordan, LeBron James. Does not say anything about Jordan being in an all-star game. LeBron's jersey is awesome. Jordan's, I'm not sure if that's from the jersey, from the all-star jersey. It certainly could be, though. And I know other copies of this card are from the all-star jersey. I suspect this one probably is. Let's make sure. Did I miss anything? Memorabilia that have been certified as being used in NBA games. I think that might be from an all-star jersey. Go check it out. Go look. You know what? I'll do it with you guys. Mirror images from reflections. Jordan mirror images LeBron. That's a regular jersey. Regular. See, but look at the patch. That is 1,000% all-star. That's the same card. So it's just the patches, white and black. Actually, some of the regular jerseys do too. Oh, these are autographs. So if they're autographed jerseys, they have the all-star. If they're patches, they're all-star. That's an all-star patch, guys. That's an all-star patch right there. It's not as definitive as the other ones because it doesn't have any of the blue, but white and black, that is an all-star patch. Very cool. Okay, one of the most interesting cards of the week. The Michael Jordan 2006 EX printing plate. So let's talk for just a second about printing plates. I am not a huge printing plate collector. I have one. I've had several in my collection that I've really liked. I sold 3 of them recently. I have one that I really like. But what makes a printing plate great? Well, this Jordan here has something about it that I actually really love. And see if you can guess what it is before we get there. It's from 06EX, which is not that's not the best known Jordan base card, but I definitely know the 06EX Jordan base card. I know it. What I know about it, and I can see in my mind right now before we even look it up, is that those fans are not on the base card. See on the left side of the card here, there's these fans. So look at this real quick. Let's go to card ladder. Jordan 2006 EX. We're going to start there and we're going to sort by highest. And you're going to find something really interesting here. At least I think it's interesting. The highest selling Jordan EX cards are the credentials. This one's numbered to 77. He's got one that's lower number that's a lot more pricey than that. Because I think it's numbered to 4. Look at the card. Notice something that's missing on the side here. See, what's interesting about this to me is that the Jordan EX card is made up of a cardboard. I mean, the whole set is made up of a cardboard piece and a plastic piece. And this is true for both credentials and base cards. We're looking at the credentials, but let's go look at a base card just so you guys, just so you can see it. So here's a base card in a CSG holder. See how this card is like an acetate see-through. This is cardboard. EX was always taking cardboard and plastic and putting it together in a really cool way. And that's what they did here for the 10th anniversary of the EX product. I guess you could say EXL goes back a couple years before that. And EX is sort of what EXL is what EX came from. But at some point, which is 96, they said, we're going to go away from cardboard and we're going to cardboard and plastic. And that's what they did in 96 in that very iconic, the first credentials year with the sky, Kobe with the sky behind it. So 10 years later, Jordan's well retired at this point. In fact, he retired from the Wizards 5 years before this. They put Jordan in this set. And again, it's a really cool card, right? This is just a base card in a regular CSG holder. Does $200 just was that yesterday or today? Or I guess a couple weeks ago. But as part of that, they also did the credentials, and one of them is numbered to 77. The other one's, I guess, probably numbered to 4, which, let's do this. Let me show you this real quick. Instead of doing Jordan, let's just type in 2006 credentials. And you're going to see the highest ever. Oh, see, I don't know why that didn't pop up. Oh, because they didn't have a dash between the E and the X. So the Jordan credentials is numbered to 4. Sold for $162,000 last year. You know what's exactly the same rarity as that? I've officially gotten lost. That. This printing plate right here, there's 4 of in existence. I mean, technically they're one of ones, but that's just because there's different colors. There's 4 different colors. This one's the magenta plate. There's magenta, cyan, yellow, and black. They're labeled one of ones. It is the same rarity as this card that sold for $162,000. This is a completed card. It's serial number. There's 4 of them. This card is not going to sell for anywhere near $162,000. I have no idea what it will sell for, but one thing I love about it is that you get to see some of the production because this is the whole of the cardboard piece. The plastic this piece got taken off and it's plastic. This piece got taken off and it's plastic with serial numbers for the credentials, not serial numbers. The point that I want to make here, and I'm all over the place. I feel like I'm slow today. Sorry, guys. The point that I want to make here is that, and this is just related to printing plates. The printing plates, most of them I have no interest in. This is one that I would consider. It's not like it's his most iconic card, right? They started making printing plates in 97 with Stadium Club, and the Stadium Club printing plate of Michael Jordan from 97 to me is like an all-timer type card. It's one of the best printing plates in existence. Then they continued to make them in 98 to 99, and then they made way too many of them, right? Like they just kept putting them out in the packs. But ideally, a printing plate represents a card that you know well. I feel like I do, at least with 06 EX. I like it when it's inserted into the same packs that it was that it came out in. I don't know if this one was, but it's not. It doesn't reference any other products here. It just says 06 EX. I like that like this is a gradable card. A lot of printing plates, they're not gradable. Honestly, a lot of printing plates, I have no idea whether they're real or not. Something needs to be a slabbable plate, though. You need to know what it's from, and everybody needs to be able to know what it's from. So this is from 06 EX. Like that, again, that matters to me. But the most important thing is, so those things are the most important things. But the other really important thing is the card needs to be recognizable. And I think I already said that. But it's true. The card needs to be recognizable. If something is the printing plate of Michael Jordan, but I can't tell what it's from, I'm like, eh. That's kind of why I thought about the Steph Curry for a while, because like the Steph Curry is a Logoman rookie autograph, not the Logoman rookie auto, not like the one for the main one that we know, maybe the best, one of the top 2 Steph Curry cards in the world. That card is ultra recognizable. So is, by the way, the Steph Curry NTRPA. That would be really interesting. This is like not like those things because it's not a rookie year card and it's well after his career's over. But there's not that many Jordan plates that I think I'd rather have than this one, because they didn't. I mean, they made them mostly in Topps, and he's like retiring or on the verge of retiring when they started making the plates. And remember, with Topps, they never did like retrospective cards. Topps doesn't have any 2004 cards. He does have some Wizards cards that probably have plates. An interesting conversation here is, what are the greatest plates ever made, and what determines that? I would love to do a video on that. One of the million ideas that I'd love to get to at some point. Okay, I think that's it for. We're gonna call it there for MC. Holy smokes, I took a long time. That was an hour on MC today, guys. I don't know how I just kept going. There's just a lot of really good stuff up at MC. So let's move to hoodies. Hoodies has their monthly high-end auction ending this week, and there are a few cards in here that I am very excited to talk about. At least one that I'll be doing a reel on. Honestly, there's a couple of them that I'd really like to do a reel on. We start off, though, as we usually do these days, with a Shohei Ohtani. This is the regular Bowman Chrome pitching autograph, PSA 9/10 autograph, $21,000. Everybody wants Shohei. He is the most notable player that we have seen in baseball for I don't even know how long, but it's fun to see it. Then we have this Kobe with LeBron guarding him. This is the X-Fractor number to 288. The fact that this is a PSA 10 is what does the heavy lifting. There's only 45 of these cards in the population report, and it's currently at $8,000. Roman Anthony's first auto, PSA 10, card's a gem. It's a gold shimmer. It's $5,350. Ending tonight, actually. All those other cards end in like 6 days. But ending tonight is the Sapphire Infinite Sapphire Cooper Flag. Really a pretty card. Not sure how many of these have moved, but obviously that's a big number for a rookie insert. It's a really pretty card. Another X-Fractor from 08. The other really iconic card from the set, the LeBron Chalk Toss. One of the most 25 iconic cards of the 2000s as voted by you. 4750 is what that one's at right now. And maybe like one of my favorite cards of the week. Now, this card is from the white box, or excuse me, the black box. You can see the sticker on the back here, meaning that it didn't come out of white box. Sorry, I forget what it's called. Meaning this card was basically a replacement card that Panini kept long enough that then they didn't need to replace anything with it. Some people don't like that. What I will say is this: look at the front of that card. It is gorgeous. You get the game used piece from Ronaldo, a great looking autograph, and you're not going to find many game used autograph cards of Ronaldo, especially one of ones in that price range. The Mickey Mantle dog food card in a PSA 8, the Pete Rose rookie in a PSA 7, the Shador Sanders RPA number to 10, man, hot, $2,700. SGC graded Koufax 6, $2,000. Ooh, 2016 Dirk. This is a Playing Days Dirk black autograph, numbered to 5. Great looking patch. Love that. I love that it's Playing Days, especially. All right, we've got a Buster Posey Logoman auto. We've seen a couple of those lately. I have to imagine a Posey collector is selling out of his high-end stuff, because we've seen some really big stuff sell of Buster Posey, and I think we've seen a couple of Logoman autographs. Might be a good opportunity with so many selling toward the same time. A Max Dowman. I've heard stories about this card and why it's important. I don't really know it though, so I'm not going to opine because I don't want to look stupid. Bobby Witt Jr., number 299, pop 4, 1550. The LeBron swoosh at 1425. There's another Chalk-Toss, PSA 9. This is the number 1 of 499, orange. The LeBron fast break, 1 of 1, the mosaic. All right, and then one of the most interesting cards to me of the week. This is the Anthony Edwards. Now, take a close look at this card, guys. When this popped up, I immediately put it on my watch list. Why? Well, it's a 2022 Anthony Edwards Gold Prism. Who cares? It's not his rookie, right? Think about it like this. Anthony Edwards, let me show you this real quick, guys. Come into here to Card Ladder. Sorry, and you type in Anthony Edwards Gold Prism. And you sort by highest. We all know what we're going to see first. Right, there it is from 2020. Right, you're going to see a whole bunch of 2020s. And as you scroll down, you'll get to some other things. But, you start at 2020. So Anthony Edwards has Gold Prism cards from 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, and 2024. 5 years. That means Anthony Edwards has 50 Gold Prism cards ever. And I believe that's all that he'll ever have. Very likely. So the question is this. If you believe in Gold Prism, if you believe in Anthony Edwards, how big a deal is this card? To some people, this conversation is moot. It's dumb. To me, I think it's really cool because there's so many things from the Panini era that I'm not as sure about. I am sure about Gold Prisms. Why am I so sure? Because there's people who want to put together the whole run because it's something that from year to year, people are like, I really want that thing. Because every year they're numbered to 10 from 2012 all the way to 2024. That's 2025, sorry. That is it 2025? No, it's 2024. Sorry, lost my mind for just a second. That is 13 years, right, of straight Gold Prisms that are always the same. Everything's different every year except for the Gold Prisms. They're always the same. So Anthony Edwards has 50 ever. Now, granted, 2022 is not going to be as good as 2020, but you know what's great about it is a PSA 10. So how many PSA 10 Anthony Edwards Prism Golds have there ever been made? Ever. Well, let's see if we can go figure it out. Okay, so I've come to gem rate. I think this might be the fastest way to figure this out. So 2020, you click here, and you've got 0. There are 0 10s of Anthony Edwards. Let's go to 2021. 2021, there's Gold Prism right there. Not Gold Wave. We're looking for Gold Prism. Okay, there's 1 from 2021. How many are there from 2022? Okay, we're going to have probably more this time. 3. There are 3. So we've got 3 from this year and 1 from the year prior. That's 4 total so far. Three more. That's 7. And last up. That's fireworks. That's black gold. I think it's this one. 2. So if my calculations are correct, that is 9 total PSA 10 Gold Prism Anthony Edwards base cards ever made. That's I mean, like, that's not a huge number. And so, again, it goes back to this idea, like, how much do you actually care about gold Prism cards? Maybe you don't care about them at all, or maybe you don't like Anthony Edwards. But if you do like those two things, you sort of look at this and you go, huh, when was the last time an Anthony Edwards Prism Gold PSA 10 showed up? Actually, when was the last time an Anthony Edwards Prism Gold showed up? Anthony Edwards Prism Gold. This will be fun. I'm going to sort out, how do I sort out things like wave here? So let's check this. Let's come in here and let's just do 15. Let's do 1500. Probably should be higher than that. Do 1500 start. Okay, so one sold last month, a 9 from 2023 for $4,500. So the last time we saw an Anthony Edwards Prism Gold sell was February. And before that, wait, is this Prism Black or Prism Gold? I can't tell if that's black or black gold. Or sorry, if that's gold or black gold. It says it's out of 10, so I don't think it's black gold. I think this is regular gold. Yeah, this is a regular Prism Gold. I think the word black there was wrong. Because black gold is always out of 5, right? So one in February, one in January, one in December. So like once a month. But here's the one I was looking for. So the last time an Anthony Edwards Prism Gold 10 sold was in December, right? So it's been 3 months. You're not going to see them very often. Actually, I thought it would be longer ago than that. But yeah, 3 months ago. I wonder how far we'd have to go back to get to the next one. We're not going to take the time to do that, but worth noting for sure. Okay. All right. So that's the ant card I wanted to show you guys. And then there's a couple other ones. So this Scottie Pippen right here is fun. It's in a really old holder, which I really love. Look at the cert number on that. It starts in the 4s. This is one of the coolest patch autos of Pippen ever. Look at that patch. It's amazing. But you'll notice that the autograph is, in fact, on a sticker. It's one of just 2 exquisite basketball autographs that I know of that were ever on a sticker. Still, you look at that patch, it'll still be a big-time card, obviously. And then, okay. So I'm not a ticket collector. I don't think I'll ever collect tickets in any way, but if there was ever a ticket that I was going to collect in basketball, this would be pretty close to the top of the list. Michael Jordan's image is on this ticket from the Trailblazers. The Trailblazers, this is not a Bulls ticket. This is a Bulls at the Blazers ticket. So Portland this year decided that they would put the image of a player on every one of their tickets. But what makes it really special is this. This one was actually from, look at that. This ticket was actually from November of 1984. Guys, he had only played a few games in the NBA when this one was produced. There are this is a Pop 2, none higher. So we're going to do a little bit of research on that. It's graded an 8, which is obviously special. But I want to ask 2 questions. What number game is this for Michael Jordan? Actually, I want to ask 3 questions. What number game is this for Michael Jordan? What did he do in that game? And what was the 3rd question? I'll see if I can remember it here. I want to check the rest of the population report. So first, let's look at the date. The date's November 24th, 1984. So let's start there. November 24th, 1984, Blazers Bulls. So that game, how many points did Jordan score? Now, remember, he's a rookie here, so he's probably not scoring 25 points or anything. He scored 30 points. So 30 points was scored by Michael Jordan in this game with 8 assists, 3 steals, 6 boards, had 4 turnovers, and a block. 10 for 24 from the field for the rookie. Was this his career high at this point? I'm probably reaching. Let's look at this, though. So game log 1984 Chicago Bulls. Okay, let's check this. I'm just interested to know, like, what year, like, what game is this for Michael Jordan? So here it is. They lost 131 to 141. This is the same game, right? November 24th, right? Is that what we figured out? I think it's November 24th. November 24th. Okay. So Michael Jordan all over the place. Sorry, guys. I just want to make sure I get this right. Click back here. I think I clicked on something I didn't mean to. So November 24th, we're talking about, are these preseason? No, these are regular season games. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15. So this is the 15th game of Michael Jordan's career. And in Michael Jordan's 15th game of his career, the opponent already had said, let's put his image on the front, on the ticket. This was the first time that Michael Jordan's photo had ever shown up on a ticket. And the question then becomes, how many times has it been graded? We know it's the highest graded. I think that this item is going to really surprise people. And I don't know exactly because I'm not a ticket guy. With that said, I actually have I have no tickets in my collection except for this. I need to sell this. This is from Michael Jordan's. In fact, I'll show you guys this real quick and then come back to this. So, no, you know what? I'm just going to keep going. This is from Michael Jordan's final year. It's a full season ticket book, and I need to sell it. I've had it for years, but I need to move it. So that's the only ticket that I have in my collection, or the only tickets that I have in my collection. But this has attributes to it that I think are really special. As a guy who doesn't collect tickets, Jordan's first image on a ticket, Jordan's rookie year, very early, 15th game ever, ultra high grade, and it came in a collection with a whole bunch of other tickets, which even makes it more special. And then the last part is, let's look at this. Let's look at the pop here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over to another window you guys cannot see right now. And I'm going to type in this serial number. Cert verification. We're going to type in. Why can't I get this to be big? There we go. 151904. And 153. See if I got that right. I did. Okay. Show you guys what I found over here. Pop 2, none higher. Now, my question is, how many of them are total? Gosh, it's going to be a small number, guys. These are all stubs. Stubs. Is this a stub? I didn't even notice. I guess so. I guess there's something on the bottom of this that's ripped off, which makes this the stub part of it, I guess. So we're talking about 18 of these tickets have been 18 of these tickets ever have been graded, and this is the highest one. Yeah, I think this is going to be a really interesting auction here, guys. Again, I'm not a ticket guy. I don't really know anything about tickets, but you're talking about Michael Jordan's first season, his first time he's pictured on a ticket, his highest grade copy of that ticket, and it's his 15th game ever. I just don't see how that's not a huge deal. What does it say on the back? And if nothing else, you've got a Steinfeld's 50-cent coupon. I'm sure that's still good. Look at that. This ends January 31st, 1984. This is so cool. That is going to be one of my auctions of the week without question. That is, as is, I'll come back to that. Who cares? Okay, there's that ant. Okay, now let's get to alt. Now, I'm not going to walk you through many of the cards in alt's auction, but there is a card that I definitely need to point out at the top because, and that's the reason that I do the show is because I want you to know about when the biggest items are selling. And when a Luka Doncic gold prism rookie is moving, that is a huge deal. If we go to Card Ladder, we're going to go check out Doncic 2018 prism gold. How long has it been since one's moved? I remember there's a PSA 10 that moved, I think, last year. Gosh, this is going to take a second. Okay. When was the last time that one moved? Scrolling. That is obviously not a real card. Okay. So it's been over a year when the PSA 10 sold. All right. Where do we go? Okay. So it's been over a year since the last time a Luka Prism Gold has sold. A Luka Rookie Prism Gold has sold. That one was a PSA 10. This one is a BGS 9.5. The question that I would ask you is this. And most, I know not everybody here obviously is going to go, is like going for Luka, but like Luka has only a few really big time rookie cards. Let's walk through them. He has his National Treasures, Immaculate, and Flawless Logoman autographs. Those are all owned by Wondershine, all three of them. So those are basically locked up. Those aren't gettable. On the Prism side of things, he has a Prism Black. The black variation of this, we've never seen it before. Like that card does not. We don't even know that it exists today. Could be gone, or it could still be in a box somewhere. It's hidden or whatever. We've never seen it come to auction. It's never been graded, anything like that. There's the Nebula version of this. Nebula version of this is owned by the great Philip Gauze. That card is very well planted in that collection, just not gettable. Also, Philip has the Logoman out of Flawless that's not autographed. Those are sort of the great Luka rookie cards along with the Prism Gold. I don't really know if there's anything else that really fits in that same sort of vein, but we're really talking about like the best of the best Luka rookie cards. All of them are sort of gone. So whenever a card like this, whenever one of the 10 of these pop up, it's going to be a huge deal. And obviously, now with him, with the Lakers, with their hopes, that's, you're sort of just looking at him wondering, what is he going to become? As the years go by, are they going to be able to develop championship teams? How great will the Luka resume look in the end? We don't know. What we do know is that's certainly one of his best cards in existence. The other thing that I would just say here briefly is this, as we leave the Panini era, I think as far as iconic Prism cards go, that's still number one by a long shot. And I wonder as the years pass, like, is that going to stay the same? Is it going to get better? Are people going to look back at it with real fondness? Or are people really going to think about it? I'm not really sure, but I think it should be fun to watch. All right, let's go now to Fanatics Collect. We're going to look at the Fanatics Weekly. Oh, my goodness. I'm so far behind. On the Fanatics Weekly, we have this Shohei. Check out this ball autograph. Man, that's cool. Another Shohei. Pokemon cards aplenty. Pokemon and Shohei all over the place. A Kobe Bryant 04 patch auto from Exquisite. I love this card. Said it before. I think this is the best looking patch auto set ever that's numbered as high as it is. And 3 colors on Kobe is great. Mantle, 3.5, 2.5. My eyes are going 3.5 on the Bowman rookie. Not perfectly centered, obviously, but very few of them are. Shohei autograph at a Transcendent. That's a 1 of 1. The Michael Jordan with Akeem Olajuwon Atomic Refractor. Nolan Ryan PSA 9. 9 on the credentials on the LeBron. Check out that sweet Skeens Nike tag auto. Mbappe on the gold Kaboom. It's a big card. The PSA 10 on the Thrill Seekers Kobe is a big deal. Beam Team 10 and Platinum Portraits 8.5. Kobe, this isn't the gold, 24 karat gold, but it is the gold out of 99. It's still a big card. Jordan in a 7.5 on the star. I love this Kevin Durant. I've always loved it. It's from 2007. numbered to 25, one of his best cards, because why? He doesn't have a chrome gold refractor. He only has a finest gold refractor. BGS 8 on the Steph. I'd love to take more time. I've taken too much time on this episode. I'd like to give Golden more time here. We're going to be took a lot of time on Golden stuff last week. Here's another Jordan red. I did want to highlight this Jokic Logoman for sure. That is one of his biggest cards in existence. He does have a Logoman autograph from his rookie year that I did have a friend send to me. It does exist. This one is not autographed. Still, it is one of the biggest Jokic cards in existence for sure. The thing that I would ask, and I've asked other people too, what's going to be the better card? The Gold Prism, which is amazing. That's at auction too, and it's number 1 of 10. That versus the Logoman both are a big deal. This SGA, though, to me is like one of the biggest cards of the week. In fact, gosh, I know we saw one of these move and we were like, oh, this seems like a ton of money. And that was like a year ago. In fact, I got to look this one up real quick. Shea 2019 Logoman. It was the same card. There it is, $66,000. Authentic holder, 9 autograph, and it was, gosh, it's been 2 years ago. Okay, or a year and a half ago. Same holder. Oh, wait. No, it's not. It is different. That's surprising. Why would you have the 9 autograph taken off? Somebody must have thought that that was not additive to the card. It's really interesting. I would not have done that. I would have left it on. I think the 9 was not a bad thing. So here's the card. Check it out. This is what's great about comparing cards over time. So in card, oh man, I'm in the wrong window. So in card ladder, look at this. You can see this card had a 9 auto grade. Here's the last time it moved. Moved last or a year and a half ago. Ending in 2158, authentic grade, auto 9. Ending in 2158, authentic grade, no autograph grade. So somebody sent this back into PSA and said, hey, take off the auto grade here. Maybe it helps the value. I don't know. I think it's nice seeing that. And the autograph looks great. There's nothing wrong with it. Okay, so let's talk about why this is such a great card, though. Notice Shea, great image of him right here. He's in a Thunder uniform. In 2019, he played with the Thunder, but the year before that, he played with the Clippers. So if you want the first Logoman auto of Shea, where he's with the Thunder, you might be looking at it. There's not going to be many from this season that are game used. This one obviously is game used because it's flawless. You can see down here, enclosed game worn and used. I mean, we've seen far lesser Shea cards in the last year go absolutely bonkers. I love this card. Here's a question for you. What would you rather have? This with the autograph or the gold Logoman that we just saw sell without an autograph? I'd rather have this card by a lot. It'll be interesting to see if other people agree with that. But it's his first, it's his first year with the Thunder. It's a 1 of 1. It's signed. It's before he became potentially an all-time great, or certainly a great from this era. I really like this card. I think this is going to sell for a big number. But Shea's a little bit down right now, right? As the Thunder have sort of struggled a little bit. It's an interesting opportunity. Okay, we're going to call it there for Golden. Let's go to Card Hobby. And then I want to take a minute on the Fanatics premiere. I want to hit just a few items, even though that stuff doesn't end until next week. Check out the Noir Kobe here. I love that piece. There's 125 of those in existence. This James Harden is just a wonderful card, but the real question here is, and I did my research, I could not find it, on this James Harden, the other cards from the set, and I think there's like 25 cards from the set, did other players inscribe their one-of-ones? Because on this set, the National Archives set, historically nobody has inscribed these cards, but for some reason James inscribed his one-of-one and not his other versions. So I wonder if the other one-of-ones are also inscribed, but I couldn't find any other cards from the set that have ever even been shown off publicly. I mean, I couldn't find anything. Really an interesting Kobe autograph. This is from the second year of Panini. A red Robinson. Always good to see those at auction. Logoman auto of Harrison Barnes. Really a nice Shea patch autograph. Check out this piece right here on this Con Knipple. Man, is there anybody who doesn't like Con Knipple? There's that Artest. It raises its ugly head again. I shouldn't say it's ugly head. I like the card a lot. I just wish it didn't keep selling. When a one-of-one card just keeps selling, you're like, why does that keep happening? I want to see somebody get it and like have it, be theirs forever afterward. All right, let's talk about like 5 cards in this auction real quick, and then let's get out of here. We'll also hit the top 5 of the week after this. So, you've already heard everybody and their brother talk about this one, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time. I generally don't like talking about cards that everybody else is talking about a ton. This card has seen its own sort of whole media tour, and it's very uneasy to understand why. I'd say the thing that's like least highlighted about this that I'd like to show off is like, I just want to show you the 3D version. Actually, there isn't a 3D version. Usually there's a 3D image of the card. I think it has like a refractor sheen to it. I think it does, but I can't see it. And usually they have a 3D view. I'm not sure why. But obviously, like the dual Logoman, both gold, the autographs, one-of-one, ultimate chase out of tops. I'd like to see the card in 3D. 8.5 on this card. We just saw it a 9 sold for a 10 on the Jordan Platinum Portraits. The story here is you're talking about one of the biggest products ever for basketball, 97 Metal Universe. And then you're going to say, okay, there's these PMG greens and reds and blah, blah, blah. But what's the best insert? What's the insert out of it that people are going to remember most? It's this one, the Jordan Platinum Portraits. And then you say, okay, but like, how rare is it to get into PSA 10? And that's why it's at $110,000. BGS 9.5 on the LeBron game used Luka RPA. See if anything else really jumps out at us. Okay, this is Steph Curry. I have always loved this Steph Curry card. I am not a Kaboom fan. I do not go bonkers for Kaboom stuff. Man, that is just a beautiful card. It's one of 10. It's the first one ever. But the real story, like, just look at Steph in this card. It's so cool. So cool. All right, let's see if there's 2 or 3 more cards that we want to hit. I feel like I'm off my game today, guys. I'm tired. Life is tiring sometimes, isn't it? It's just tiring. Cool to see a Playmakers Theater Jordan. When was the last time we saw a Playmakers Theater Jordan hit auction? I just don't even remember it. Feels like it's been a while. Jordan Playmakers Theater. We haven't seen a Jordan Playmakers Theater sell since December. It was also a PSA 5, ending in 193. Same card. So, same card selling again. And before that, there was this BGS 9.5. If you're wondering what that would be if it crossed to PSA, is it possible it could go from a 9.5 to like a 6? It's possible. Then you got to go all the way back to 2020 to May of 2025 for the one before that. June of 2025. That's probably the same one too. All right. All right, let's wrap this episode up, guys. Again, thank you for joining today. If you haven't already hit that like button, please do. Let's wrap it up by looking at the top 5 most interesting auctions this week from my perspective. PSA 10 on the Anthony Edwards from 2022 Prism is a big deal. Again, prior years. Before this, you only have one other Prism 10 Anthony Edwards Gold Prism ever. There's 3 of these. It's at $13.25. It's going to obviously sell for a lot more than that. But that is the first of my big 5. Then you've got, and this is a mix of cards that are really high end and cards that aren't as high end. Because again, I want to highlight stuff, not just the really high end stuff. I want to highlight the stuff that I just think is a really interesting auction. All right, so this is presented without respect to like how big a card is. I do think that this Shea is really interesting, and it's a card that's personally interesting to me. And why they had the 9 taken off of this card, I don't know. I don't know that was wise. What I do know is that this card is in a very different place than the last time it sold. It's already significantly more than it sold for last time, and it's going to sell for way more than this. If you don't want Shea in a Clipper uniform, I'm not sure there's a bigger card. I'm being real. Like it's his green Kaboom, his solo green Kaboom. And then you're talking about like black Prism cards and stuff. The point I think other people would say was, Adam, of course you want him in his Clipper uniform. That's when he's a rookie. He's going to end up playing with the Thunder maybe for the rest of his career, guys. Like 2019 to 2026, we're talking about 7 years in at this point, and there's no signs of slowing. Like that is a team that is destined to be really good for a long time. And he's a member of that team. He's a member of the Thunder. I like that card a lot. I just need an extra several $100,000 to be able to buy it. So there's card number 2 for me. The Luka Gold Prism. I've already said everything there is to say about it. It's iconic. It's one of his best cards in existence, and all of the other cards of his, just you're never going to see at auction. So as far as like the best Luka card that you can see come to auction, it's this or like a PSA 10 of this. That's it. So this is it. Hoodies. I've got it via PSA, but I've never put a ticket on any sort of list before. I'm not a ticket guy. The reason that I'm not a ticket guy is because you don't know from looking at a ticket, like you don't know which players are involved without doing research. You do here. You do. You know that Michael Jordan played in this game, and then when you go and you do the research, you find out he scored 30 points in the 15th game of his NBA career. And again, there's not a higher graded ticket. I think this ticket's going to sell for way more than you would probably guess. It's under $1,000 right now. Just watch this one. And then the 5th card that I really am interested in this week, we haven't seen it sell in a couple years. The triple autograph with Favre, Barry, and Thurman Thomas. One of the best cards from the early 2000s that you can find for football. Guys, that's it for me. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining. Thank you for hitting that like button. Please subscribe. Please tell a friend. And until next time, happy collecting.